My 29 male brother, 31 male, is marrying my high school sweetheart, 28 female, and I refuse to attend the wedding. I, 29 male, dated this girl, Val, 28 female, fake name, when I was 17 and her 16. We were close. We swapped, but I found we were incompatible around the time I turned 18. Val was understandably upset. I told her she needed to let go, and it took her a year to move on. As time went on, I regretted breaking up with Val, but she was in a committed relationship with someone else by the time I realized I wanted her. About 5 years after breaking up with Val, I found out she had unknowingly moved 3 blocks away from my house. We hung out a few times, and I walked her home from work since we also unknowingly worked right across the street from each other. I took this as a sign that we were going to get back together, but Val unfortunately told me that she no longer has the feelings that she did when we were in high school, and that it's best to stay friends as we were. I was sad, but I respected her decision. I ended up moving to a different state shortly after that. A year later, my brother Nick, 31 male, had asked me about my history with Val. I was confused on how he would know her because they never met, and Nick was already out of high school when Val and I met. I sugarcoated it and said she was just a high school fling.
There it is.
Nick asked if it would bother me if he started to hang out with her, because at the time his best friend was just murdered and her long-term relationship had just ended, and they both wanted someone to, quote, their feelings out with. I said I didn't care given the circumstances, and it probably wouldn't last because they didn't have genuine feelings for each other. This was in 2019, and now in 2023, Nick and Val are planning their wedding. Nick asked me to be his best man, and I said no. He was confused, and I told him he's marrying my high school sweetheart, and there's no way I can stand at the altar and watch him marry her. He threw in the fact he asked me if he could date her before even doing anything, and I said I didn't care, and now all of a sudden I do? I told him I always cared. I just didn't think it would last because he's such a dickhead, and she's the sweetest person you'd ever meet. And it was a sucky situation that they even started hooking up in the first place, and it doesn't make sense that she chose him over me. He said that maybe I should have realized what I had before calling it quits with Val. I guess he told Val what was said because she later messaged me saying that we were literal kids when we dated and I needed to let it go. And it's weird that now I'm suddenly not okay with them together when it's been years since it first started. I didn't argue with her. I just informed my family that I wouldn't be attending the wedding. My mom, stepdad, and most of my family are taking Nick's side, saying it's been well over 10 years. And I had the chance to speak up, while my younger twin siblings are on my side saying Nick should respect bro code. I'm at a loss right now. Am I being unreasonable refusing to be a part, let alone attend the wedding? Should I just keep silent and let it happen?
Story time. So I remember when my ex decided that he was going to try to be slick and save a girl name under a man name in his phone so I wouldn't know he was cheating on me. Now, I knew something was going on, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could never catch him in the act. And I'm one of them people who wanted to be clear as day, okay? Picture this, we were both butt naked, banging on the bathroom floor. Baby, I want to be standing in the doorway. Because when I bring it to the table, you better believe I'm coming with nothing but the hits. Okay, nothing but the hits. Baby, I said to myself said, huh? Said, go through that phone and look under the male names. Why? I don't know, but I did it. Now, to have a girl name saved under a male name and still be calling her by her actual name is crazy. You didn't alert the others. You didn't tell them that they were under investigation. So you know what I did? I changed it back. Okay? How we supposed to know who calling us if you gonna have it under the wrong name, silly? You so silly. Let me put it back for you. Every time that phone ring, I feel like I turned into an owl. The way my neck did a 360-degree turn to ask, who's that? She ain't called yet. So he feeling good. He feeling confident. He being nonchalant with the phone. Oh, he leaving it right beside me and stepping off. Trying to show me he's trustworthy. But baby, let me tell you this. Patience is a virtue, okay? Because before you know it, it was lights, camera, action. The surround sound of disbelief on this man's face when Ashley's name popped up on the phone was worth waiting for. I said, Ashley calling? You gonna answer it? Ashley on the phone. Ashley calling right here, you see it? Ashley right here, she calling. You gonna answer the phone? He said, I don't know no Ashley. I said, that's crazy because somebody got to save the name under Ashley. And just so happened, somebody did that. So I told him, I just did you a favor and changed it back. Because how you going to know who actually calling if you keep saving the numbers under the wrong name? It could be a state of emergency. It could be serious. You don't know who calling. I'm trying to help you out. Now answer the phone. to you not. That man threw that phone clean over the balcony. I didn't do nothing but go down there and get it. I said, hello, Ashley? I could tell by the dedication of her allowing the phone to ring as long as she did that Ashley's elevator didn't go all the way to the top. Like, if there was 10 floors, hers stopped immediately at 5. Okay, it's kind of like taking the stairs. It was just going to take her a little longer to get there. Because, baby, why would you let that phone ring almost into the voicemail pickup? I would never, okay? Do you have no shame? Sometimes I only let the phone ring once, and then I hang up. Sometimes I hang up in the middle of people saying, hello, and then I put my phone on airplane mode so it looked like I tried. Anyway, I digress. So Ashley like, hello? I said, hey. She said, who is this? I said, well, I was somebody's girlfriend, but now I'm just a girl with the strangest phone. Now, I don't mean to sound crazy, and I hope I don't sound ridiculous, but I don't know this man. If this man was walking down the street, I wouldn't know who he was. Sorry to this man. Then she says, oh, well, this is Ashley. I said, I know. Now, correct me if I'm wrong when I know that I'm right, but when I answer the phone, didn't I say, hello, Ashley? Then she says, I didn't know he was in a relationship. And I simply replied, he's not. Now, off the rip, I don't know if she was waiting for her 15 minutes of fame or what, but she goes straight into how long they have been talking, where they met at, what they be doing when they be meeting. You know what I'm saying? The things they be getting into. And I had to stop her right there. Please don't go no further, because this has absolutely nothing to do with me. These sound like your problems now. I told her it sounds like you're dealing with a lot and you truly have your hands full. And then I wished her the best on their future endeavors, because offloading to a complete stranger about your problems is crazy, okay? You're going to have to talk to the lady, because I don't got the credentials. My major is in sociology. Now, it's close, but it ain't quite that. Now, what I failed to mention is, all while I'm talking to Ashley, baby, I had to do a little tussle and bustle to get up in the car. Okay, I was in here tussling and bustling. Now the doors is locked and the windows is rolled up tightly, because this man is in full sprint, chasing behind the car while I'm driving around the neighborhood in my first therapy session with Ashley. Now, what I will say is, he probably would have caught up to me a lot faster if he had his own car. Now, you ain't hear from me, but word on the street is he's still chasing behind that car to this day. The only problem is, I'm too far gone, baby. You'll never catch up. Y'all be easy. Peace.
Am I wrong for refusing to pay for Christmas dinner when I'm not hosting? Story time. So I do Christmas with my husband's family every single year, and each year we change up who is hosting. And I'm pregnant this year, so we decided that my sister-in-law and her partner would host. My partner Steve have always said that they are not the best cook, so we're not really looking forward to the dinner that much. And we did offer to help them with the cooking. They always overcook the vegetables, and there's nothing worse than a rubbery carrot. So despite knowing that I was going to have to politely enjoy the food and not say that I actually really hate it, I was quite looking forward to going, until my sister-in-law, who we will call Amy, calls my Steve and asks when we're going to take her shopping to get Christmas groceries. For a little bit of added context here, me and Steve both lost our jobs not too long ago, and we're both on food stamps at the moment. And Amy asked if we could have £200 worth of food stamps from our little stash. And please bear in mind that Amy and her family and my Steve's sister are really quite wealthy. Like, they do not need our help. I said, you can tell her, absolutely not. Even if I wanted to help out, I couldn't. I'm pregnant. We need this money for when our baby comes. And also, you're hosting. You pay. Then next thing I know, I've got bloody mother-in-law on the phone asking to give up just like £100 worth of food stamps to help pay for it. Really, please get the vibe. And also, why would I give any money to people who can't cook? It's gonna be a bad meal. They definitely have the means to pay for it themselves as well. And then my mother-in-law dropped the absolute bombshell on me. Darling mother-in-law Sandra turns round to me and says, well, maybe you should give some up because you need to stop eating so much anyway. Bitch, I'm pregnant. She then went on to blabber about how she was upset that she now had to give the £200 and how that was all my fault. So I think now I've just decided that I'm not actually going to go. Like, me and Steve will just stay at our house and we'll just have a cute little day together. But the problem is that Steve really wants to spend Christmas Day with his family, of course. So, should I let bygones be bygones, or should I stand my ground here? What do you think?
Whenever someone tries to hurt my feelings, I just tell them this story. Well, I don't, because that would be weird, but I do think it was so crazy that it really helped my character development. So when I was in middle school, I had a best friend, okay? When I was in 6th grade, we were like this. And I went to an international school, okay? So like basically new people were coming in and out like all the time. Like sometimes people would only stay for a year, and then sometimes if you're like local to the area, you would like stay there your whole life. So me and my best friend were like this, but then one year, like at the beginning, I think this was like at the beginning of 6th grade or maybe even in the middle of the year, a new girl came and she kind of started to join our little group. And I'm like, okay, a trio, like I can do this. Then slowly I started to notice that they would like gang up on me, like do 2 against 1, like little things like hanging out at each other's houses and then like telling me how much fun they had, but like that I wasn't invited. And then like when you had to pick a partner for a project, like they would pick each other and be like, but not Meg. We'll call the first friend T and the second friend C. So T and C started being like this and like just like leaving me out from stuff. And then it slowly became like they would just completely ignore me, like I wasn't part of the group at all, like there was just them two. But then when it was separately, like when I had a class with T, she would be really, really nice to me. And when I had a class with just C, she would be really, really nice to me. Very mind game stuff. And it got to the point where I was like, okay, like I don't do well with being bullied. Like that's what I felt like. I was like, I'm being bullied. I've never been the type to like take it. Like I need to stand up. Like I need to say something, even if it means like I'm not gonna have any friends for the year. But right when I was deciding like, oh, I think I'm gonna like just call them on their shit. Like I don't care if they completely ditch me and I have no friends for the year. Like I need to stand up. My parents were like, guess what? At the end of the school year, we're gonna be moving to a new continent. So I was like, this changes things. And I remember we only had a few months of the school year to go. So instead of like just causing a scene, I was like, I'm gonna be smart and calculated about this. So I waited till the very last day of the school year to be like, guess the fuck what? I hate you guys and I'm not coming back. Like I'm leaving. Like I refused to write in anybody's yearbook that year. Or if I did, I didn't write nice things. But I was chilling because I was like, you know what? My time is up. Like, I'm getting out of here. Like, I'm free. Like, y'all can do whatever you want. Like, this was like fully like the last day of school. Like, I told everybody how I really felt. And it got to the point where I was like, you know what? Might as well tell this to everybody who's ever been mean to me here. So I just like went off and I was just like, I don't like any of you guys. Like, I'm literally leaving. You can all stay here with your drama. Peace out. Bye. So I ended up moving. I moved from Germany to Canada. And sorry, this was supposed to be sushi, but I got really into the story. Anyway, so fast forward a couple years later, I'm living happily in Canada. This is like 2.5 years later. So I'm currently enjoying my first year of high school, 9th grade in Canada. Just a bunch of like strong female friendships, like just thriving, no drama. Everyone's grown up, everyone's respectful. So then I come home one day from school, and this time it's my parents who are like, guess the fuck what? We're going back. So after all of that, 2.5 years later, I had to go back to the same school where I told everybody how I really felt, and I had to live with that for 3 years. I can't believe I'm saying this, but get ready with me to go on a date with my airplane crush. I just feel like this doesn't happen except for in movies, but here we are. Let me just tell you this story. Context. So I booked a flight to New York City to move here for the fall. And when I was booking my seat, I realized it was like one of the only seats on the plane that didn't have one next to it. So I was like, this is great. Like I'm gonna be in my own world. Like I'm gonna be alone. This story doesn't even start on the plane. We're starting all the way, you know what? Let's just start from the moment I walk into the airport. Okay, so I walk into the airport with my 2 giant fucking suitcases, get my ticket, get my shit, and I go to security. While I'm waiting in security, it's like a 20-minute wait in line. There's a guy in front of me, like two or three people in front of me. He just like automatically caught my eye because the bro looked like he was tall, okay? And I'm like 5'2", so everything looks tall to me, but he was tall. Like I'm saying like 6'4", 6'5". But I didn't really think too much about it. Then I get to my gate and I'm sitting there and I'm waiting to board. I wait till last to board because why the fuck are you gonna board like and then sit there on the plane for 30 minutes. Nothing entertains me more than when I have an airport crush when I'm traveling, especially when I'm traveling alone. So I will always have one. My eyes are looking out, I pick one, and in my head, that's who I think about. But then this motherfucker comes to the gate, and I'm like, oh my god, he's also gonna be my airplane crush. The fuck? So I get on the plane, I'm like one of the last ones to get on the plane. I actually walk to my seat. I am sitting in row 4, and who the fuck do I see? Sitting right next to me. These are 2 and 2 seats, mind you. The same dude. Literally the same dude. And I'm a little bit like, oh, this might ruin it for me, because like, what if I see him watching like The Big Bang Theory or some shit? So he has to get up to let me in because I'm in the window seat, he's in the aisle seat. So I go past him. I don't try to make it a moment, but it kind of was a moment, I'm not gonna lie. I sit in my seat and we're just sitting there waiting for takeoff, and then the person comes through with the drinks. So right away I was thinking, like, if he gets a sparkling wine too, like, maybe we're gonna have a conversation. Like, I don't know. But he gets the wine, we just sit there, he doesn't talk at all, and he just goes on his iPad. I'm like, okay, well, it'll stay a fantasy. But then right as we were finishing our wine, here comes the first interaction. He looks at me and he's like, so you headed home? I was like, what a great conversation starter. So I started to explain how I'm like moving to New York for the fall. He started explaining like that he lives there and that he lives in fucking Manhattan, which is, it's like a nice area to live in. And he started telling me a little bit about his job. Honestly, I didn't understand it. It was something with a bank. Whenever anyone with an office job tries to explain what they do to me, I just don't understand it. He's like, oh, like, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm a singer, like, I make music. And he, like, I couldn't tell if he was joking or trying to flirt or not, but he was, like, not believing me. He's like, oh, I don't believe you. And I was like, oh my God, if this motherfucker's about to be like, sing something for me, I don't believe you. Like, I'm gonna go find a seat in economy. But then he ended up being sweet about it, and he's like, oh my God, like, show me your songs. And I was like, no, like, they're literally about my ex, like, that, no. But he's like, when's your next song coming out? I'm like, oh, like, it's coming out tomorrow. Like, so I gave him my spot. My literal fucking song comes out today. It's Friday. It comes out today. We're gonna go in warp speed now. I gotta hurry this up because I have shit to do before I go on this date. I forgot I have to post all my promos. So basically, we keep talking. He's like flirting. I'm asking about his job. He's asking about my job. Just sitting there with like butterflies in my stomach. Like, no way I'm really meeting a hot rich guy before I even land in the city. Like, what the fuck? And then anyway, so we talk a little bit more. He goes on his iPad more and he starts to like watch a movie. And I think it was like the movie Flight with Denzel Washington. So I was like, okay, he has good taste because that's a very good movie. But also, like, why do you watch like a plane crash movie on a plane? Like, I've never understood why people do that. Anyway, so once the food comes, he had to put his iPad away. He had to put his little distraction away and focus on me. He smoothly started giving me like recommendations for the city, like good bars and places to go out. And I'm like, I think I know what you're doing here. Sure enough, like, he makes the first move and he's like, well, why don't I get your number? Maybe I can take you out sometime when you're in the city. And making that move was confident because we still had like a good 45 minutes left. So if I said no, like, it would have been awkward, but like, I didn't want to say no. I actually wanted to say yes. So I was like, yeah, sounds good. So I give him my number. So he goes back to watching his movie. And then after we land and we're getting our stuff out of like, he's getting stuff out of the overhead and I'm getting my stuff from out of the seat. And I was like, are we like not going to say anything to each other? Like, this is weird. He goes, let me know when you get to the city. Right when I got to my place, I texted him. I was like, I'm in the city. That was the day before yesterday. And this morning he texted me. He's like, well, what are you doing tonight? And I said, I texted back. So I guess this was this fucking me who asked him on a date? A little bit. I responded, I don't know, thinking of hitting up the restaurant, the name of the restaurant we're going to tonight. You want to come with me? I said that. Like, that came out of my mouth. That came out of my thumbs. Like, who am I? I now have an hour and 45 minutes before I have to leave. And I'm probably just going to sit here anxiously and hope that he didn't actually go to my Spotify that I gave him, because he's gonna see that I literally released the saddest song I've ever written about my ex today, and that's so awkward. Or maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing, because then he will be like, oh, well, I'll make sure and treat her good so she doesn't write a song about me. I'll update you.
Am I the asshole for thinking my friend who is usually the designated driver would be the designated driver? What happened last night is rocking my friendship group, so I need to know if I'm in the wrong for this. My friend group consists of 3 girls, myself 22 female, Liz 23 female, and Leah 22 female, fake names. We've been really close since freshman year of college, and we've always had the same dynamic when we go out. Liz and I get hammered, and Leah is the designated driver because she doesn't do drugs or drink. It's literally been like this since we were 18. Leah's birthday was recently, and we were all really busy to do anything special. Last minute, all 3 of us got invited to a kickback Leah's boyfriend's friend was hosting, and it worked it out that we could all go. The friend told us that to be there by 6, but Liz and I wanted to go around 8 because we didn't want to go to a party early. I shouldn't have realized what was going on because Leah's boyfriend kept texting her to drive over earlier, and he would pay for an Uber to come get Liz and I later. I told Leah to just wait for us to get ready. Leah drove when we arrived around 9 because we wanted to pick up some alcohol. I was so surprised and kind of embarrassed to find out that the kickback was a surprise party for Leah organized by her boyfriend. I felt kind of bad because apparently the boyfriend was trying to get in contact with us to tell us about the party, but Liz and I had blocked his number prior to this whole thing because he dropped us as friends earlier this year. All right, the party was real nice, though. We kind of just left Leah with her boyfriend because he doesn't like us very much. I feel like he should have tried harder to contact us so we could at least get her there on time and bring a present like everyone else. It's around 11 p.m. when Liz and I want to go because it's getting boring, and like usual, we are pretty wasted, so we go to find Leah. She's all over her man, but we say, "Excuse us," and tell her we wants to leave. She says, "I'll see you guys later. Thanks for coming?" Question mark, question mark, question mark. Like, did you not bring us here? Question mark, question mark, question mark. I tell her that she's literally our designated driver and she could just drive us home and come back. She starts apologizing and she starts saying she'll do it, but her boyfriend, like, gets mad at us. He tells us to order an Uber, but we really don't trust Ubers when we get drunk. I think that's fair. I think that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I did feel bad because it was her birthday, but like we were 30 minutes from my place though. Her boyfriend ends up driving us back and cusses us out the whole drive, and he got really hurtful saying we were bad friends and taking advantage of Leah. Longest 30 minutes of my damn life. We thank him and he ignores us. Anyway, Liz and I end up going out again later that night to a local bar with this guy Liz is seeing, and she posts an Instagram story of us there like an idiot. Liz is not replying to us, but we are literally mad at her because she didn't hold up her role when we go out. Am I the asshole?
Story time about how my best friend got expelled for breaking a sink at my school with another girl's head. Background information, my best friend Hannah had a huge crush on this boy who we're gonna call Max. So, you know, she had been trying to pursue something with him, and then I get a DM on Instagram from somebody completely random, don't know who they are, that this other girl, who we're gonna call Vivian, also likes Max. Now, here's the thing. Vivian and Hannah already had beef with each other from some shit that they had been through before this. But because Hannah was my best friend, I thought that the only reasonable, logical thing to do was to tell her that there was another girl trying to steal her man, who wasn't her man. Well, you know, it actually turned out that that was one of the worst things that I ever could have done, because after that, Hannah was like, "I'm going to beat this." And I'm like, oh, okay. And wow, Hannah kept true to her word, because the one day around lunchtime, Hannah walks into the bathroom and she catches Vivian alone. And then I walk in, and as soon as I seen that, I knew that it was over for Vivian. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, this beating was a little bit too personal to be about a boy, so whatever happened between them before, it must have been really bad, because Hannah went in on her. Anyway, so Vivian goes over to her and she starts fighting her. But while Hannah was fighting her, she just kept getting more mad and more mad and more mad, and that's whenever she finally decided to literally just smash Vivian's head into the sink. After that, we walk out of the bathroom like nothing ever happened. Well, fast forward a few minutes later, I see Vivian walk out of the bathroom holding her head, and there's a bunch of blood pouring down her head as well. And then after the principals found out that it was Hannah, obviously Vivian and her mom pressed charges against Hannah. Hannah went to juvie for 3 or 4 months, and she got expelled. And I lost contact with Hannah after that. And then I'm pretty sure that Vivian had maybe went into a coma, maybe had a little bit of memory loss. I don't know. She kind of got her head smashed into a sink. But I wasn't really close with her, so I don't really care what happened to her. But I actually saw Hannah in Walmart not too long ago, and we are best friends again.
Am I the Astronaut for telling my sister that what I give her kids should have nothing to do with her preferences and that they deserve to be happy? I, 17 female, have a sister, Rebecca, 29 female, who has 3 kids, Lori, 8 female, Cammie, 7 female, and Trey, 7 male. I babysit them, and they are really good kids. I like to bring over toys when I babysit. All of their favorites are dolls. We also like watching shows and movies from doll brands. Rebecca is a vlogger with the whole beige aesthetic. It isn't my style, but it's not my business either. Now that I have a job and get paid for babysitting, plus a store discount for what I buy there, it is the first year I can really buy people gifts on my own for Christmas. Most of it I got months ago. I got each of Rebecca's kids 2 dolls and something extra. I don't think there's anything wrong with them. I got Lori a signature Monster High G3 Frankie doll, a Winter Poppy Rainbow High doll, and a Rainbow Dash necklace. I got Cammy a Neon Frights G3 Monster High Toralee doll, and a LOL OMG doll, I don't know the name, with kind of a camo outfit and a poppet purse. I got Trey a Rainbow High Dahlia, a Disney Tiana ballet doll, and Lisa Frank stickers. All of these are child-friendly and cater to what they like, which I would know from my time with them. When Rebecca heard I got them gifts, she wanted to see them. I showed her, and she said that I should have known them, she used the word us, better than that, and not to have gotten these things. She told me to return them, which I can't return most of it due to how and when I got them, and get something else, and that before I buy it, I approve it with her. I got mad and asked what was wrong with what I got, and she called them disgusting, said that they don't fit in with anything. I told her that she might not be into those things, but they aren't for her, so her preferences aren't a factor and that her kids deserve to be happy. She got mad and said that they are happy and stormed out. Our mom is siding with Rebecca and said that if I really don't want to buy something else, I can just sign on with her gifts. I really don't want to. I got them gifts that they deserve to have, and I don't understand why I shouldn't just give them to them, but I could be wrong. No one is agreeing with me. Update, I will keep the gifts for when I watch them. I might look into natural colored slime or craft kits. I don't want the toys to be thrown away. Not only do I want the kids to enjoy them, but throwing them away is wasteful and bad for the environment. For people saying they would throw them in the trash, at least donate them or something. The issue isn't with her sexualizing the toys.
On Christmas in my town, children go missing. For the last 3 Christmases, without fail, the worst has happened. A child has gone missing. I remember it like it were yesterday. Parents used to let their kids play freely in the icy snow outside, and now it's just empty. Children can't be children. There were no Christmas trees, Christmas carols. It just became a sad holiday in my town. The first to disappear was Tommy Graham. He was 11 years old, and although I'd seen him around, I didn't really know him personally. I remember my mother crying about it. Just the thought of something terrifying happening to a child distressed her greatly. That Christmas, my dad held on to me tighter than he had ever before. The following year, another Christmas came and another child was taken. Her name was Cheryl, and she was only 4 years old. And just like Tommy the year before, little Cheryl was never found. Despite everything that was going on, it wasn't until the 3rd child disappeared that I was truly heartbroken. His name was Finn, and he was one of my friends. We lived on the same street. We would walk to school together each day. My dad used to take us to the cinema most Sundays. Finn was like part of the family, and I still think about him to this day. Where would he have been now? What would he have done in his life? What happened to my best friend?
I promised my brother on his deathbed I would take care of his son, but my wife wants to put him up for adoption because she's sick of him. My brother died back in May and he requested me to take care of his son in case he passed, because his wife had died a couple months prior. He had entrusted me and I agreed because I loved my brother dearly. I am financially stable, and I am prepared to be a father. I asked my wife first before I gave my brother an answer, though, and she was ecstatic. She agreed immediately because she has always wanted to be a mother and she loves taking care of my nephew Aiden. So, we took him into our family and he is very well behaved and intelligent, but taking care of a kid is difficult. I work all day from Monday to Friday. I try my best to spend time with Aiden, but it is extremely tiring. However, I am willing to make as many sacrifices as possible to raise him properly. I love him with all my heart and I want to carry out my brother's wish no matter what. My wife stays home and watches him while I work during the day. She initially had no problem, but after 2 weeks, she was tired too. Now, nearly 6 months later, she is exhausted and somehow completely done with Aiden. 2 days ago, she told me that she wanted to stop taking care of Aiden. I was shocked. I knew it was tiring, but we promised my brother that we would take care of him. She said she understood, but she just couldn't take it anymore. She can't handle him and has gotten sick of him. I said I would try to help out more. I could try paying someone too so that she could get some rest. She said no because that meant spending more money on him, which is also something she didn't want to do. I got angry at this point and reminded her we agreed. Besides, what would we do with Aiden? She said, just give him up for adoption. I said no and she got furious. She said that I didn't know what it was like to take care of him full time. I said that I would do 50% of the housework, get a helper, or a babysitter, but nothing I said would change her mind. She said she's had this idea for a while and the more she thought about it, the more she wanted to do it. I told her I needed to think, and she said okay. Honestly, there was nothing to think about. I was not giving him up for adoption. A week passed, and I thought she was going to press me about it, but there was nothing on her part. That made me really suspicious, so I asked her about it. She didn't give me a clear answer and just said she was giving me time to talk about it. I didn't believe that, so I talked to Aiden. He was very quiet and hesitant to talk to me, which never happened before. After some time, He admitted that my wife has been very neglectful towards him. She barely feeds him, and when he begs for food, she gets annoyed and tells him to leave her alone. She sometimes refuses to take him to school because she doesn't want to wake up early. Other times she's late to pick him up because she forgets. I couldn't believe this was happening right under my nose. I asked my boss for some time off, and luckily I had enough in my savings to do that so that I could take care of him instead. I got to see what my wife does all day to claim she's tired all the time, but she just sits around and watches TV. Maybe for some time she was putting some effort in, but now she was acting like a degenerate. She would just make messes left and right. I honestly don't know why she was doing all of this, but when I asked, she said it was because now I was going to know what she went through. Which is also why she wasn't helping me, because I never helped her, which isn't true. I always did my part whenever I was around. I slept on the couch for a week because I just couldn't be near her. The next day, she brought up adoption again. She told me she didn't care what my decision was, she was already in the progress of making this adoption happen.